In this anime, the main hero's arc shows him sleeping under a tree in a jungle. Suddenly, his eyes open, and he realizes that he has transformed into the character he was playing as the last time. He then proceeds to attempt the wyvern slash move, which proves to be successful. After that, he tries a few more moves. Moving on to experimenting with magic, Ark decides to cast a basic fire spell, which results in a tree being reduced to ashes. Puzzled by his newfound magical ability, especially considering his class's supposed limitations, Ark concludes that he can actually access all the past skills from the advanced progression of his primary skill, Holy Knight. This realization leads him to the belief that he has become incredibly powerful. Becoming increasingly hungry and faced with the unfortunate absence of both food and funds, Ark decides to employ a gate spell in an attempt to teleport to a different location. However, the spell backfires, transporting him off a nearby cliff instead. As he contemplates the mechanics of the gate spell, Ark opts to use an alternative spell named Dimension Move. Upon landing safely beside a river stream, Ark removes his helmet to quench his thirst, only to make the startling discovery that his head has transformed into that of a skeleton. Recollecting that he had chosen the skeleton avatar during his previous world, Ark comprehends that if he were to enter a town without wearing his helmet, he would undoubtedly be perceived as a monstrous entity. Consequently, he devises a strategy to evade capturing undue attention and uses teleportation to reach a town in close proximity. The town goes by the name of Louvierde, and after exploring the area briefly, Ark comes across a disagreement between a woman and an investigator. The crux of their dispute is the investigator's inability to gather the information he was hired for by the woman. To Ark's surprise, he discovers that the woman is an elf, though his fascination is short-lived as she soon disappears from his sight. Intrigued by his surroundings, Ark stumbles upon the mercenary guild of the town. Upon entering, he endeavors to obtain a guild license. Initially, the male receptionist dismisses the idea, suggesting that Ark's current appearance, including his armor, implies that he is already employed. In response, Ark fabricates a plausible excuse that the receptionist accepts. However, he learns that to acquire a license, he must first undergo a trial. This trial entails providing evidence of having subdued one of three targets: a creature, a monster, or a bandit. Without hesitation, Ark exits the guild as the receptionist and another guild member speculate about Ark's backstory and the reasons motivating his decision to join the guild. Subsequently, Ark eliminates a pair of boars before confronting and defeating an orc. Armed with the evidence of his victories, Ark then comes across a distressing scene: a gang of bandits encircling a carriage. These bandits swiftly overpower the guards and corner a noblewoman and her maid. Contemplating the marked difference between battling creatures or monsters and intervening in human conflicts, Ark observes the bandits exploiting the vulnerable position of the noblewoman and her maid. In a scene that mirrors his previous actions, Ark takes action once again, dispatching the bandits. This time, he employs his wyvern slash move to conclude the fight. With the bandits neutralized, Ark tends to the two women, learning their names. When Rita inquires about Ark's social standing, he promptly constructs a fabricated tale. He portrays himself as a cursed knight on a quest to discover a remedy for his ailment, choosing to withhold further details for the time being. As Rita and Lauren retreat into the forest to secure their safety, Ark employs his fire spell to cremate the bodies of the bandits, acknowledging his lack of remorse for their demise. Before the ladies make their return, Ark scavenges the belongings of the bandits and utilizes their horses to transport the acquired goods. Returning to the town, Ark rides alongside Lauren's carriage, which is guided by Rita. Rita expresses her gratitude for Ark's actions, while Lauren's intense gaze unsettles him. During the journey, Rita inquires about Ark's name, and he responds by introducing himself as a modest traveler named Ark. Back at the guild, Ark submits the proof of his conquests and hands over the rune stone retrieved from the orc he defeated. The receptionist provides guidance on the proper handling of such stones after a monster has been vanquished. Following a concise explanation of the potential uses of runes, Ark is presented with his guild license. Eager to rest, he promptly checks into an inn and arranges for the served meals to be sent to his room. Engaging in a sumptuous feast and savoring the offered beverages, Ark eagerly anticipates embarking on quests the next day. Siona, a dedicated single mother to her 2 children, Marka and Helena, toils tirelessly in the fields each morning as the sun rises. Eager to assist their hard-working mother, Marka takes it upon herself to compose a job request seeking help. Eventually, Ark responds to the plea and agrees to the task, which involves providing protection while someone gathers herbs. He arrives at the designated job site known as Rada Village, and the village's gatekeeper points him towards Siona's residence. Upon reaching the location, Marka and her sister Helena are having breakfast when Ark's knock at the door captures their attention. Marka opens the door, only to be taken aback by Ark's imposing presence. He informs her that he has accepted their job offer from the mercenary guild. A quick flashback reveals a conversation between Ark and the guild's receptionist regarding the job, with the receptionist advising Ark to approach the client with kindness. Returning to the present, Ark is offered tea, and Marka politely inquires if they can commence their task immediately. Ark agrees, prompting Marka to ready herself for the upcoming work. While on their way to the designated area, Ark brings up that the job description mentioned a rise in fanged boar sightings around the village, which is why protection has become necessary. Intrigued by Marka's haste in completing the mission, Ark queries her about the urgency. Marka reveals that her mother will be returning home soon and wouldn't approve of their current venture. She appeals to Ark to keep this secret from her mother and goes on to disclose that her father had passed away the previous year. With her mother shouldering the responsibility of herb collection to sustain their family, Marka expresses her desire to bring happiness to her mom's life. The weight of Marka's confession deeply touches and impresses Ark, and he resolves to assist Marka in her task of gathering herbs. Amidst the lush fields abundant with kakara herbs, Marka seizes the opportunity to enlighten Ark about the unique characteristics of the plant, effectively showcasing her remarkable knowledge. This demonstration of expertise genuinely impresses Ark. Subsequently, Marka proposes that they proceed towards the neighboring kabumi tree. However, a rustling from the nearby bushes captures their collective attention. Moving to investigate, Ark discovers a wounded, green, multi-tailed creature. As he extends his hand to assist, the creature bites his finger. In a swift response, Ark employs healing magic to mend the creature's injury. Filled with elation over its newfound health, the creature playfully frolics around Ark, its appreciation clearly evident. This act of compassion and magical aid serves to forge a bond between them, leading the creature to decide to accompany Ark. Marka suggests that Ark bestow a name upon the creature, initiating a brief brainstorming session. After due consideration, Ark settles on the name Panta. Within the village, a hunter's distress stems from an unusual encounter in the forest, diverging from the expected confrontations with the regular fanged boars. Coincidentally, Siona returns to the village, learning from the gatekeeper that Marka embarked on a journey to the forest that morning accompanied by a knight. Upon reuniting with Ark's group, they discover the kabumi tree in full blossom. As Marka approaches the tree, an enormous basilisk emerges suddenly from behind it. Panta's agitated behavior toward the creature prompts Ark to deduce that it was responsible for Panta's prior injury. Taking swift action, Ark rescues Marka from the basilisk's path just before it could stomp on her. He skillfully evades the creature's poisonous breath attacks. While fending off its paralyzing claws and whip-like tongue, Ark astutely analyzes the basilisk's tactics. He then employs his holy shield of tutates to thwart a petrification attempt. Following this defensive maneuver, Ark executes his judgment attack, cleaving the monster in two and effectively vanquishing it. Expressing contentment over the creature's defeat, Marka anticipates the villagers' celebrations. However, Ark urges her to keep the incident under wraps, a request that Marka comprehends and respects. In a perceptive moment, Ark's attention is drawn to a ring around the monster's right ankle, a ring that vanishes shortly after catching his eye. Ark deduces that the appearance of the fanged boars near the village was orchestrated by the basilisk. Coincidentally, a fanged boar emerges before them, and Ark dispatches it swiftly, offering the creature's remains as a gift to the village. However, he specifies that he will retain the boar's fangs and rune stone as his compensation. Additionally, he suggests that the boar's hide be tanned and bestowed upon Marka, while the meat is shared among the villagers. At this juncture, Marka reunites with her mother, Siona, who warmly embraces her daughter. Ark takes the opportunity to extend a formal apology to Siona for inadvertently allowing Marka to venture into the forest without due caution. Subsequently, the village's gatekeeper and a hunter approach Ark, inquiring if he had encountered the disruptive forest monster. Both Ark and Marka deny any such encounter. As dusk settles, Ark and Ponta prepare to depart. Before leaving, Helena presents Ark with a wreath of flowers, a touching gesture. Later that night, deep within the forest, a formidable group of soldiers successfully defeats a giant basilisk. The group's leader receives a status update from a subordinate, detailing the number of soldiers who were either killed or injured in the encounter. The report also highlights the extraordinary accomplishment of a lone individual managing to vanquish a giant basilisk. Astonished by this remarkable achievement, the leader ponders whether the one responsible for the feat is either a deity or a devil. Meanwhile, Ark enjoys a peaceful evening in his quarters with Ponta. Contemplating his options for the upcoming day, he contemplates the idea of embracing a more challenging quest. Ariane's internal contemplation reflects her disillusionment with the elf and human treaty, deeming it a mere facade in the current era, and she hungers for greater power. Her destiny is about to shift due to a fateful encounter with a towering figure clad in silver armor. Seeing Ark emerging from a cave with Ponta perched on his shoulder, Ariane readies herself to strike against him. Meanwhile, within the cave, Ark pursues a gang of bandits. Following their defeat, he stumbles upon their amassed hoard of treasures. He also notices a couple of cages within, though they don't capture his immediate attention. In another location, in Diento, Marquis Triton learns from his consort, Celsica, of the failed assassination attempt on Lauren's life. Concerning the unleashed beasts in Louviert, which turned out to be the giant basilisks, both creatures have been vanquished individually. This news weighs heavily on Triton, prompting Celsica to question why Prince Dakars targeted the region initially. Triton, however, remains uncertain but speculates that it might be linked to supporters of His Highness from the Eastern Empire. They are resolute in their stance to prevent any knowledge of their affiliation with Dakars from coming to light, as this could complicate their dealings with Prince Sect. In light of this, Triton issues an order to secure and market the product, ensuring that Princess Uriarna remains unaware of these developments. Celsica assures him of her commitment to this task, and Triton inquires about his son, Eudolin. Celsica explains that Eudolin was escorting the product, a situation which Triton disapproves of with evident displeasure. Returning to Ark's perspective, he becomes the target of Ariane's attack and recognizes her as the elf he encountered in the city. Accused of being a bandit, Ark's situation takes a turn when Ariane spots Ponta and identifies her as a spirit creature. With this revelation, Ariane ceases her assault, no longer suspecting Ark of banditry. In conversation, Ariane reveals that she had heard about bandits targeting elves in the vicinity. Understanding the purpose of the cages he found earlier, Ark informs Ariane that he discovered no elves in them. She then shares the distressing truth that elves are sold as high-value slaves in the market. As Ariane departs, Ark attempts to extend his assistance, which she promptly declines before hurrying away. Despite her rejection, Ark remains resolute in his determination to aid her, viewing it as a kind of event quest. Later, in his own room, Ark enjoys his dinner and reflects on his encounter with Ariane. Despite not having received her introduction, he holds on to the hope of encountering her again, planning to search for her the following day. Warped into an area he suspected to be near the elven forest, Ark and Ponta detect a nearby presence, a young elven girl attempting to flee from her captors, only to be captured once more. Among the captors is Eudolin, the same figure from before, now leading this band of bandits. Eudolin not only taunts the girl but also inflicts a stab wound to her leg. Ark, a silent observer, witnesses the scene unfold, poised to intervene. Just as the situation escalates, Ariane appears, swiftly dispatching a couple of bandits with a single, precise strike. Ariane's presence rattles the bandits, and one of them identifies her as a rare dark elf, a fact that could command a high price. Udelin dismissively claims that he cares little for her fate and allows the bandits to act as they please. However, the tide shifts when a significant number of bandits encircle Ariane. With unmatched prowess, she defeats them effortlessly. Another bandit recognizes Ariane as an elven warrior. As the bandits dwindle, Udelin seizes one of the elven girls as a hostage. Seeing an opening to aid, Ark materializes behind Udelin and employs his armor lariat attack, incapacitating him. Ariane proceeds to deal with the remaining bandits, liberating the elven captives. Ariane notices that the captives are wearing mana-eating collars, devices unfamiliar to her. She explains that these collars suppress their ability to use spirit magic. Witnessing Ark's actions, Ariane is astonished by his ability to achieve these feats with minimal incantation. Ark proceeds to remove the collars from the remaining elven girls, displaying his healing abilities by casting Uncurse and Heal spells. Ariane uses her spirit creature, a whispering fowl, to convey a message about the rescued elves. In due time, a pair of cloaked elves arrives at the scene, collecting the previously captive elven girls. As the elven girls are taken care of, Ariane recollects the impressive skills and capabilities Ark has demonstrated. She presses him to reveal his true identity, but Ark reassures her that he holds no significant stature. Just then, the whispering fowl returns, delivering a message from an unknown sender detailing that the main culprit's headquarters were situated in Diento and that they were preparing to take action there. Given this new information, Ariane proposes hiring Ark for his services in light of the impending situation. Ariane puts forth a request to employ Ark's services. While Ark contemplates the potential apprehension her companions might feel toward him, Ariane expresses her confidence that they will embrace him just as she has. Given her trust and assurance, Ark agrees to Ariane's proposition. Employing the gate spell, Ark transports the group to Lytle River, a move that surprises Ariane, who observes Diento on the horizon. Ark's choice of teleportation location is strategic, aimed at avoiding any disturbances within the city. Upon their arrival in the urban center, the group awaits Donka's presence, and Ark is taken aback by the severity etched onto Donka's countenance. Following Ariane's brief introduction, a decision is reached to convene at a nearby restaurant. At the chosen establishment, Ariane formally introduces Ark to Donka. A curious coincidence catches Ark's attention as he notices Maple in Donka's name, prompting speculation of a possible familial connection. Ariane then enlightens Ark about the nomenclature of elves. Despite Ark's attempt to engage Donka in conversation, his focus remains fixed on his meal of beef skewers and beer. Once his hunger is sated, Donka, with an air of detachment, inquires about Ark's identity. Ariane proceeds to share Ark's background and his proficiency in teleportation magic. Confirming his capabilities, Ponta appears by Ark's side, leading to Donka's recognition of the spirit creature. This revelation impresses Donka, who then divulges the location of their target area within the theater district. It's resolved that they will wait until nightfall, when security is at its weakest, to proceed with their plan. In preparation, Ark and Ponta depart for an hour, leaving Ariane to assure them they'll be waiting. As Ark leaves, Donka expresses surprise at Ariane's decision to enlist the help of an outsider. In a candid moment, she admits to her own inadequacy in attempting to rescue the captured elves, contrasting it with her sister's presumed proficiency. Donka aspires to attain her sister's level of prowess and questions whether Ark is truly trustworthy, a doubt she ultimately reaffirms. Meanwhile, Ark is depicted as having successfully claimed the bounties and confiscated possessions of the bandits. With newfound gold at his disposal, Ark purchases a meal for himself and indulges in its flavors alongside Ponta. In another setting, the captive elves' whereabouts are unveiled, prompting one of them to assert their impending rescue and the subsequent retribution awaiting the bandits. Despite this declaration, the bandits remain indifferent to the warning. Under the cover of night, the group embarks on their mission, all the while trailed by an unidentified individual. Employing Dimension Move, Ark teleports the team to the rooftop of their intended destination. After Ariane's initial struggle to enter the building, Ark uses Dimension Move once more to transport Danka, Panta, and himself into the interior. Scouring the building's interior, they discover the lifeless forms of several bandits. In a room where he uncovers more deceased bandits, Ark is suddenly ambushed by a ninja. The ninja's excitement abates upon seeing Panta, prompting her to question how Ark discerned her identity. As the atmosphere settles, the ninja deduces that Ark's purpose lies in rescuing the enslaved elves. Bestowing a rolled parchment upon him, she asserts its utility in locating the elves. Additionally, she confesses her inability to locate her own objective within the building and offers Panta a handful of berries. Expressing regret, the ninja reveals the presence of 2 more captive elves in the Lord's palace. The contents of the parchment handed to Ark reveal contracts for elven slaves. He shares this revelation with both Ariane and Danka, simultaneously disclosing the information about 2 more captive elves within the Lord's palace. When questioned about the origin of the documents, Ark asserts that he discovered them on one of the fallen bandits. In a tense moment, 3 bandits enter the room, only to be swiftly neutralized by Ariane. In the basement section, Ark's group successfully liberates the captive elven girls, evoking heartfelt gratitude from the freed elves. With Ark's casting of the gate spell, the scene shifts outdoors, revealing magic-eating collars around the elves' necks. Employing his magic prowess, Ark utilizes Uncurse to dispel the enchantment, leaving Danka visibly astonished by this display of skill. As the rescued elves express their appreciation, Danka informs Ariane that their mission is not yet complete. He pledges to guide the elves safely back to their homeland. Entrusting the task of rescuing the remaining 2 captive elves at the Lord's palace to Ark and Ariane, Danka takes his leave. Subsequently, Ark harnesses Dimension Move to traverse to the Lord's palace. Observing from a distance are the 2 ninjas, one of whom had interacted with Ark earlier. The ninja remarks that their paths will intersect once more in the future. Having secured 2 elven women, Senna and Anna, bound on his bed, Triton readied himself to assert his intentions upon them. However, before indulging in his desires, he reprimanded his son, Eudolin, for his recent unsuccessful endeavors. Meanwhile, Ark and Ariane accomplished a successful landing on Triton's mansion, catching the notice of a pair of vigilant guards. Employing his wyvern-slash-move, Ark expertly cleaved the bell nearby, generating a resounding distraction that afforded them the opportunity to clandestinely infiltrate the premises. In that moment, Celsica promptly informs Triton of the presence of intruders within the mansion. As Triton labels the invaders as monsters, the door behind him suddenly erupts in a powerful explosion. Amidst the dissipating smoke, Ark and Ariane emerge through the newly formed breach in the wall, declaring their intent to rescue the captive elves. Ariane swiftly incapacitates Triton, while Ark takes Eudolin by surprise, sending a shiver down his spine. During the confrontation, Ark stumbles upon a concealed room, a discovery he initially plans to share with Ariane. However, she and the elves are too engrossed in meting out justice to Triton, leaving Ark and Panta feeling slightly frustrated. Just as the mansion's guards converge on the scene, Ariane employs a fire spell to enshroud her sword, launching an attack against the guards. She then instructs the elves to rendezvous with Danka. As the 2 elves depart, Ariane turns her attention to Ark, who is busy looting gold from the hidden room. Caught in the act, Ark hastily explains that he's hindering the Diento family's future endeavors. Accepting his explanation, Ariane continues with their mission, not realizing the true intent behind Ark's actions. Multiple explosions reverberate throughout the mansion, compelling Ark and Ariane to swiftly teleport to a secure location. Despite the insufficient payment Ariane had initially offered, she extends an invitation to Ark, proposing that he accompany her to the elven territories where more of their kind remain in captivity. The prospect fills Ark with inner enthusiasm, though he voices concerns about his reception in the elven lands. Ariane concedes the necessity of consulting with the elders about his acceptance. In response, Ark discloses his inability to remove his armor and queries whether she would be willing to accept him, even if she saw his true face. Ariane pledges her loyalty, prompting Ark to unveil his face, exposing the effects of a curse that has transformed his appearance. He briefly shares his history with Ariane, underscoring his predicament. Observing that he doesn't bear the mark of the undead and recognizing his unwavering assistance thus far, Ariane asserts that he would indeed be welcome among the elves. Moreover, she speculates that the elders might possess the means to reverse his transformation. In light of this newfound understanding, the two formally introduce themselves and seal their burgeoning partnership with a handshake. In Olaf, the distinguished capital of the Roden Kingdom, King Carlin convenes a meeting, gathering his offspring, Princes Sekt and Dakars, alongside Princess Uriarna, to address the unfolding events involving Triton. As the discourse unfolds, Sekt broaches the topic of Triton's unlawful trade in elven captives, a claim that Dakars vehemently rebuts. However, Sekt implies that Dakars is voicing support for Triton, inciting a defensive response from Dakars himself. Yet, King Carlin intervenes to maintain order, advocating for Dakars and insisting on a comprehensive investigation before reaching any verdict. Inquiring about the matter, King Carlin seeks Princess Uriarna's perspective. She underscores that rumors about the elven slaves have ignited tension, thereby jeopardizing the previously established treaty. Uriarna emphasizes the need for an expeditious truth-finding mission to alleviate the escalating tensions with both their kingdom and neighboring nations. She also highlights the potential repercussions from the elven community and the possible blame that could be attributed to their kingdom by foreign powers. Consequently, King Carlin designates Uriarna to undertake a diplomatic mission to Limbold, tasked with easing any discord that may have arisen. With this critical matter addressed, the meeting concludes. In solitude, King Carlin ponders how the situation has spiraled into a complex and perplexing quagmire. Traversing a densely wooded expanse, Ark and the party find themselves navigating through the labyrinthine forest. As they continue their journey, Ark seizes the opportunity to employ Dimension Move, aiming to scout ahead. However, his plan goes awry, leading him to tumble down a small cliff near a babbling stream. Recognizing the need to rest, they decide to set up camp in this location. During the night, Danka employs a whisper bird to deliver a message to Ariane, confirming that the rescued elves are under his vigilant watch. Curious about their remaining journey to Lalatoya, Ark inquires about the estimated time of arrival. Ariane assures him that they should reach their destination within 2 nights' time. With Ariane still feeling hungry, Ark departs in pursuit of a boar to satisfy their appetites. Left alone with Panta, Ariane spends some quality time with the creature. Upon his return to the camp, Ark brings back a freshly captured boar. However, he unexpectedly stumbles upon Ariane cuddling with Panta. Amused by the sight, Ark playfully decides to engage in some cuddling with Panta himself, much to Ariane's evident embarrassment. At a later time within Olaf, Princess Uriarna is attended to by her maid Ferna, who presents her with a cup of tea. As she prepares to take a sip, Uriarna voices her suspicions regarding her brother Dakar's potential involvement in the elven trade debacle. She anticipates that Sekt will confront Dakars regarding this matter. In response, Ferna muses that either Sekt or Uriarna herself might ascend the throne, but Uriarna cautions her maid against speaking so recklessly. She emphasizes the importance of focusing on the impending negotiations with the elves in Limbold, dismissing any conjecture about the succession. Ferna acknowledges Uriarna's perspective and expresses her eagerness to reunite with her sister, Sariarna. This sentiment brings Uriarna a sense of contentment. Meanwhile, Ark and Ariane finally reach their destination, the town of Lalatoya. Arriving at Lalatoya, Ariane takes the initiative to request passage into the village and seeks an audience with the elder. As the village gate opens to admit them, Ariane makes a plea for Ark to wait outside until her return. Ark patiently lingers outside the gate, enduring the passing hours until dusk. Eventually, he gains entry into the village and joins Ariane's side. Together, they proceed to the dwelling of the village elder, appreciating the picturesque village ambience along the way. Within the elder's residence, Ark and Ariane are welcomed by the elder and his spouse, Dylan Tog Lalatoya and Glenys Alma Lalatoya, both of whom are Ariane's parents. In a formal gesture, Dylan expresses gratitude to Ark for his significant contributions to the elven village. However, he reproaches Ariane for her assault on Triton's manor. Engaging in the conversation, Ark contributes by elaborating on the entire situation to Dylan. Taking into account the gravity of the matter, Dylan pledges to inform the other elders in Maple, thereby notifying them of the exposed trafficking contract. Amidst the discussion, Glennies arrives with a meal. Despite Ark's hesitation to dine due to his peculiar condition, he discovers that Glennies and Dylan are already aware of his affliction. This revelation eases Ark's concerns, allowing him to partake in the meal without reservation. The next morning, Ark awakens to find that both Ariane and Dillian have already departed, a fact relayed by Glennies. To fill his day, Glennies offers Ark a guided tour of the village, sharing snippets of the village's history along the way. During their exploration, two young girls approach Ark, expressing their gratitude for his role in rescuing them from the clutches of slavers. While apologizing to Glennies for being momentarily distracted, she reassures him and proposes a friendly sparring session. Meanwhile, Ariane and Dillian attend a gathering of the village elders, who are deliberating on how to respond to the breach of the 400-year-old treaty due to humans enslaving elves. The conclusion of the discussion is reached with input from Elder Breon Bond Evangeline Maple, who suggests they keep a close watch on the Rodent Kingdom's reaction to the assault on the Lord's Manor. Resuming Ark's narrative, he engages in a sparring session with Glennies, who promptly showcases her mastery of swordplay, swiftly outmatching him in their friendly duel. Meanwhile, Ariane and Dylan exit the assembly of the village elders. Taking a moment, Ariane formally expresses her regret to her father concerning the outcome of the meeting. Dylan, however, offers reassurance, stating that the conclusion could have been both better and worse. He further laments his missed opportunity to meet Even during their visit and reveals that Even is scheduled to be married the following year. The news disconcerts Ariane, given her sister's penchant for battle-related activities. Suddenly, Even makes a spontaneous appearance and enthusiastically embraces Ariane, tackling her to the ground. Despite witnessing his daughter's obvious discomfort due to her sister's exuberance, Dylan departs, leaving the siblings to catch up. Their conversation ranges from Ariane's recent achievements to Even's forthcoming marriage. Resuming Ark's storyline, his sparring session with Glennies concludes, followed by a relaxing bath with Ponta. Eventually, Ariane returns home and prepares to bathe, only to find Ark already in the bath. Her reaction is one of initial hesitance. Later, before dinner, Dylan updates Ark on the situation outlined by the elders. He commissions Ark to track down the individuals named in the trafficking contract, with the task of liberating any captive elves he encounters. While acknowledging that the monetary compensation may be insufficient, Dylan enters a negotiation with Ark, offering valuable information on breaking Ark's curse as additional recompense. Dylan discloses the existence of a magical spring near Lord Crown capable of lifting curses. However, he emphasizes the dangers posed by the area's resident dragon lord and spirit animals, making it necessary for an elf to serve as a mediator for a human's safe access. Ark agrees to this arrangement, internally noting the nature of his curse as a role-playing element. Ariane then expresses her intention to accompany Ark on his quest, a proposition that Ark welcomes, and they embark on their joint endeavor. Lying in bed, Ark contemplates the nature of his skeletal avatar, wondering if it truly constitutes a curse. Despite the possibility, he reflects that if it were genuinely a curse, he would possess the means to dispel it using his magical abilities. Nonetheless, he remains cautious due to the potential harm that spells intended for dispelling curses might inflict on the undead. In an experimental move, Ark decides to cast Uncurse upon himself to test his hypothesis. To his astonishment, the spell successfully takes effect without causing any adverse consequences.